Stayed Island here. First time making a video here. Figured I'd go ahead and make one after looking all over YouTube, like I'm sure all of you have, on trying to find something to make currency for the league and seeing all these different strats with your Atlas and all of that. And I know everybody's probably going, oh, we'll run this strat, run that strat, map sustain, etc. Everybody has a different take on it. So I'm not going to add to any of those. All of them are good in their own right, and it does depend on what material in the game you want to actually farm. That being said, what this one's covering is something that you normally don't see any comprehensive list or detailed on, and that's simulacrums. We all know that they're profitable, but what in them is actually worth it, and why is it so profitable, as well as what actually do you need before you can get into it. The way I do it, I just buy the bulk simulacrums. I don't worry about farming up the splinters. Save that for the headhunter guys and the KB guys that are just doing mass farming on delirium. They're going to be the ones providing it to you. That being said, there is a few things though that will actually stand in your way before you can do this. Price is not really the entry point on as far as the materials. It's going to be your build. There are a few things that you do have to have before, in personal opinion, before you start with Simulacrum, because it is probably one of the most vicious in-game things that we have as far as consistent damage that your character is taking. That being said, some of them you want max block. With mine, I use Rumi's Flask for the extra block chance. I use a shit ton of block on the tree, as well as Aegis Aurora, which is beautiful because I'm CI. So I get full benefits of Aegis Aurora. I also use Necromancer, so I get offerings, which Bone Offering helps shore up the pieces to where I don't have to go use Glancing Blows. Controversial opinion, most people say using Glancing Blows is okay as long as you have a certain energy shield level. I am not one of those people. I personally do not like that node for the simple fact that no matter what, you are taking at minimum 65% of the damage. In Simulacrum, you're going to get hit a lot. And the build I'm using is not a very mobile build, so you're just standing there and tanking it. So you really don't want to take 65% of the damage. You want to get your full value out of Aegis and not take damage on 3 out of 4 hits, and be able to recover your energy shield. Another thing is melding is so very good, and it's not even that hard anymore to fully use anymore. I'm sitting at 88 max res. I could push it to 90, but I don't personally see the point in it at my stage. I'm already deathlessly farming simulacrums, with rare exception because mods are insane in there. Triple conversion, crit turbo, expect death. But 95% of the content in there, it's not really going to be that painful. So you want your block chance, you want your res cap. You also want some form of constant recovery. I'm using Aegis. Most people are using Aegis as well. That's what I've seen on a lot of the builds. So those 3 things are going to drastically improve your chances in here. Now I'm using Cremation Unearth. I've also seen people using Skelly Mages, cast on crit cost sprees, Forbidden Rank cast on crit. I mean, there's more than just one build that does it, but the one I've been pretty much using is Griff's right here. He breaks it down on a lot of different levels on what you need. It's about 100 exalts, give or take, depending on the market. Last league it was cheaper, but Ashes wasn't 50 exalts. So take it on depending on what league. This is an option. I'll have a link to his guide in the description. This one right here, I mean, it's got a bunch of detail to it. So I'm not going to do a whole build guide on this. I just covered mine because he's already got the guide. So this will explain it a lot better than I could. And I'm not going to even try to make it sound like this is my build, because it's not. So I don't want to go down that road, but I'll have a link to his build guide in the description. All right, what I have pulled up here is one of my old videos that I've done. And there's a few things. We've always said, as long as you can reach wave 25 or higher, you're going to make currency on this. The ways you're going to do that is these right here are going to have reward tiers. As long as you can get 4 or more in them, you're going to have great results. Preferably to hit 5 or above, But if you can hit 4, you're not going to lose currency. And there are multiple different things. We've had multiple changes to the reward types over the years. We've had some changes, like the fossil ones no longer drop. They no longer drop the resonators, so you have to go and delve for that. Breach, we used to have the breach stones drop very randomly. That no longer happens. You've got to kind of poor man it out with the fragments, which that's not an issue at all. Trust me, you're going to get quite a bit of fragments and splinters, all of them. You're going to get quite a lot. The one you're going to want the most is going to be scarabs. They are selling in such a high demand right now that they are selling very easily. Because on this one, I've only farmed probably about 4 since the last time I sold. And this is already what I've got. The TFT bulk sale tool that I'll also link in the description is pretty much valuing it. Last I looked was about 2.5, almost 3 exalts. And that's out of 4 runs. So when you look at the price of these, well, we skip out of here. You're looking at 4 of them to 1 exalt. I've already made almost 3 out of my 4. So say with that, if you'd bought all 18, you've got 14 more that are just absolute pure profit. You can roll it into your build, get your gear better, become deathless faster, more rewards, etc. Now, the way you're going to sell these, you're not going to put these on, oh, I'm just going to sell this one for 20, this one for 10, this one for 5. No, you're going to go through the TFT site and you're going to actually go into the bulk sale, and it's going to give you a text and a picture. And you just copy and paste them in here. It'll pull off the price on PoE Ninja. You're going to not charge, you can charge 100%. I usually go 85. Because the people that want like breach and divination and cartography, I want them to also end up buying the shaper, the elder, the reliquary, all the shit that they don't want. I always put it to 85. That way it's buy the whole tab. You get what you're wanting, but you kind of have to take the others with it. So that being said, you're going to do that. Like I said, I'll have a link to that TFT bulk sale site on the description. But you're just going to copy and paste it in here. It's going to have your in-game name and everything like that, your asking price, the actual value of it, so they can break it down and see what they're saving. Like this guy's saving 107 chaos. That's saving 10%. That's really not that bad. So you'll do that. They'll just message you in game. I'm sure everybody knows how to do bulk, or is familiar with selling in general at this point. But you're not going to do it the conventional way by, like I said, just individually pricing these. You're not going to do that. That's just going to take way too much time, and you're going to sell nickel and dimes when you could just sell an entire tab at one point. And I've been doing this for the past 2 weeks. This has been perfect for it. Run 10, 15 runs. You don't want to do it after every run, because then you're again nickel and diming. Find a set amount that you're comfortable with in a day or 2 days or whatever. I've been doing it about 10 or 15 simulacrums, and then I'll batch everything out as far as scarabs. Now I know before last league, essences were also in this. They're not as high because of on the Atlas tree, everybody's flooding the market with essences, so they're not as profitable. I mean, they're still good to have, and they're still great. They're just not going to sell for as much. So on those, that'll be when you do your craft for profit, or just trying to shore up pieces on your build, or hey, I've got a build in standard, I want to try and make something good for it. That's more where your essences are going to be. Your main money is going to be on your scarabs. After that, everything else is just going to be nothing but extra gravy. And you're still going to get your scraps, your glass blowers, your GCPs, chisels. I mean, you're still going to get other stuff. Currency's still good because you're still going to get exalt shards. You're going to get Awakened Sextant, like they're going out of style, which is another way of selling, which you see that I've got a price up that I'm just now dry on. So that's going to be those. Minimum wave right now, if you cannot clear past wave 25, start doing other strategies. Like I would recommend Crimson Temple farming, because if you get a Apothecary card, 40 exalts is going to go a long way in buffing your build, and then you're going to get closer to that 25 wave mark. As long as you can clear past wave 25, you're pretty much golden. That being said, Also, another thing to look out for is going to be breach rings. These I've not seen a lot of people that I know that are running simulacrums actually talking about. Breach rings on here, you're going to be able to get item level 83, 84s, which is going to give you grasping males that have a really good chance at the global defense mod. Now, you're not going to get a full grasping male every time, not even every 5 times, but about passively every 6 to 10. I'm getting at least 2 a day for me. But, I mean, mileage may vary on that. All the rewards in there are very RNG based, so that's all going to be pretty much up for grabs. You may have a luck where 5 waves in a row after wave 20, you're going to have breach on everything. You may have 2 or 3 simulacrums where you don't see breach rewards. So, I mean, give or take on that. When you get them, they're great. Make sure they show up on your loot filter, but only 83 and 84, because that anything lower, you're not going to have the chance at the grasping male with the global defense mod. Some other stuff, you're going to be getting shit tons of stacked decks. These are going to be dropping all over the place, not only as pure stacked decks, but also as diviners incubators. So if you like to gamble, this is going to keep you very happy with it, because every couple of runs, you're going to have a couple dozen, if not 100 of these things. They do drop pretty reliably from the divination reward. So you're going to be running into these a lot. Your incubators, this is a great place to both get them as well as run them, because there's just so many things in here you're killing. These things are going to tick off, and you can go through a full set, probably 2 per simulacrum, give or take, depending on the monster or how many that's needed to kill. Because not all of these are created equal. Like this 84 is only 10,500, and that's for Harbinger. But when you go up here to the Delirium one, it's almost 13,000. So, excuse me, mileage will vary on that one. As long as you're smart on it, and hell, even if you're not really smart on it, you just pack whatever you have on there. Like Diviners, you're going to run through these a lot through Simulacrum just because of how few monsters they need. But if you put a Geomancer's on to give you a 6-link armor, you're going to be there for a little while. So, good passive income from those. Great income from these. You can even gamble them. I mean, we all know stack decks are lucky. I'm not really going to get into what all those rewards are. At this point, we all know what stack decks can do for your life. And it's usually pretty good. Some other things you're going to get a ton of cluster jewels in here. I mean, you can pretty much set your watch, but you're going to get a bunch of these. You are going to have to know, at that point, which ones are good, what item levels people want, what's meta. The meta ones are going to be the ones you want the most of. Like right now, a 5-point flask one at item level 84 is going for a pretty penny, because the cast one damage taken builds are one of those. Next league, that may not be the point or be the case. So that you just got to pretty much keep up to date on those. Others, you're going to get some jewels. These are great. I pick all of them up that are 84 higher. I ID mostly just the Ghastlies and the Hypnotics, because you could luck out and get something insane. Again, it's all a gamble. You're picking rares up off the floor. We all know how well ID'd rares go, but you can get lucky. All right. Now on this as well, you're going to have so much stuff dropping, because, let me pull up the video again. Just because these are all subpar rewards, like your anything goes, your fragments, which is great for Zeri runs, but who runs Zeri? Your weapon and your jewelry. These are going to drop so much bloated stuff, those 3 will, that you are going to need a very strong filter for this, or you're going to be flooded like we used to be. So on that one, I do recommend going over to Filter Blade and make your own. If you want to use the one I'm running, which is very lean, there's not a whole lot shown on it. It's item level 84 enchant bases, most of your cluster jewels, very few of the incubators. It's stuff like that. I've got it really lean, tried to maximize my profit per click. Go to Filter Blade, and you can search me by name and use the Simulacrum one. That's the one that's the most recent one for March. Use that. Oh, apparently I've got that one too. Disregard the animated weapon. Simulacrum will be the one you want to go for. And I will make sure that it is updated by the time this goes live. So you definitely want to go ahead and check that out. If you don't want to do it that way, there is a different way to do it. And that is going to be going through your account on PoE. And let's see, go to item filters and then search. If you want to search it up by me, again, Sedate Island, go right here. The Simulacrum 2.0, I guarantee is up to date. That's the one I use currently. And I updated that June 5th, so 7 days ago. If you do that, it's going to lean you down and only be picking up stuff that has the highest potential to be worth something. Anything on there that shows has the potential, enchanted bases, you can never go wrong with that. I mean, some of these are going to be worth a good amount, others not so much. I mean, you do get some weird ones, but you know, it all goes with random drops. So, on all of that being said, we always looked at if you could go minimum level 25, you could profit. Minimum of 4 reward tiers or higher, 5 is preferred. You're going to be great. And you do those and you're going to profit. We said that when there was 1.5 exalts per Simulacrum. Right now, if you look at TFT for the bulk, they're 18 or they're 4 to 1x. You can't lose money at this point doing it. The only problem is you got to have a build that is actually capable of running this, which is your stumbling block. Once you're able to do it, you're pretty much guaranteed some form of money. Now, more of it may be more interactive than others, like you may have to do scarabs and then also sell some essences or stack decks. Or you could just really luck out on a good string and be able to just sell your scarabs and make pure profit that way. I've been lucky so far, and that's been a lot of my income as we spend the scarabs. So, doing that, you're going to have a good time. I don't see any, even if you're only selling scarabs and you have bad luck, I don't even see you going negative on it. I see at least breaking even, if not going positive really nicely. It's just that about minimum 100 exalted investment-ish. I say that very loosely because you could be lucky and craft some really good stuff, or have guildmate hook you up, or be able to piece it together yourself by getting good bargains on the market. All of that's very possible. Literally the only other thing left is something I don't normally do because it's a little bit more tradey than I'm interested in doing half the time. And that's going to be leveling stuff in your offhand while you're running simulacrums. You can get, especially now with the Awakened, Enlightened, and Awakened in Power, if you can get a hold of 6 combo of those and level those in your offhand, you're going to be able to make some insane amount of money, even if you don't corrupt them. Just selling them max leveled is going to be amazing for your currency tab. I've never leveled them, so I'm not sure how much they require. But with Simulacrum, you're just really worrying about picking shit up off the ground, and then when they ding over to the max level, it's a nice bonus for the day. So you could do that. It may give you a chance to be able to gamble the pieces and actually try to corrupt stuff. But all in all, you can't lose money once you start doing this. And I've always looked around and seen YouTube and seen like, oh, well, this farming strat or that farming strat. This is one that actually doesn't need anything from the Atlas. So there's no respecking. There's no, oh, I don't like it, let me switch this. You just buy the simulacrums and have a build capable of doing it, and you're already ready to go. I hope this guide has been a little bit helpful for you guys. This is a forgotten one. Most of the older players, we know this, so we don't think about it. And there's not been anything really up to date for a while. So if you've made it this far on here, please hit the like button on this. Let me know that you actually made it all the way to the end of this. And if there's anything I missed or anything you can add, feel free to hit me up in the comments. And if you'd love to see any more comment or content like this from me, I am just starting with it. Feel free to leave comments or anything like that, and I will very much appreciate all of it. I don't have any kind of a catchphrase like everybody else, so I'm just going to say happy farming and hope to see maybe some other people buying simulacrums and this actually being helpful for others. Until then, have a good one.